Imagine being a general in the middle of World War II. Bombs falling, cities burning, millions dying across Europe. And then one day, 20,000 enemy soldiers stand in front of you, defeated, hungry, ready to surrender. Most commanders would punish them. Some would take revenge. Some would let them suffer. But one American general made a decision so shocking that it saved thousands of lives and changed the course of the war. His name was George Patton, a man known for brutality in battle, but mercy in one unforgettable moment. Why would a man who loved war protect his enemy? Why would he feed them? Why would he treat them with honor when the world was drowning in blood? And how did one surrender of 20,000 German soldiers collapse an entire front line faster than any tank attack? This is the true story of the day a ruthless general chose humanity over hatred, and how one decision rewrote history. By early 1945, Germany was collapsing. The Allied armies were pushing from the west. The Soviet army was crushing from the east. Hitler's empire was being torn apart. But the war was still deadly. Every town was a battle. Every road was defended. Every bridge was blown up. And in the west, one man was moving faster than anyone thought possible. General George Patton. His army was not slow, not careful, not waiting for orders. They attacked day and night, through snow, through fire, through exhausted German lines. Patton believed one thing: speed saves lives. The faster you move, the fewer soldiers die. While other generals paused, Patton pushed forward. His tanks rolled non-stop. His troops crossed rivers under fire. His columns covered distances no army had ever moved before. And because of this, the German front in Western Europe was beginning to crack. Whole units were retreating, running out of fuel, running out of food, running out of hope. Then, in March 1945, Patton's army reached a small German town called Hamillberg. And what happened there would shock the world. Hamillberg was not famous. It was not a major city. It was not a fortress, just a small, quiet town in southern Germany. But near it was something very important: a prisoner of war camp. Inside that camp were thousands of captured Allied soldiers, Americans, British, and among them, one man who mattered deeply to General Patton: his own son-in-law, Colonel John Waters. Captured months earlier, held behind enemy lines, surrounded by German troops. Patton now faced a choice: ignore the camp and continue the advance, or risk everything to save the prisoners. Most commanders would not hesitate. The war was almost won. Why risk soldiers for prisoners? Why slow the offensive? Why break formation? But Patton thought differently. To him, every soldier mattered. Not numbers, not maps, not politics. Lives. Real people. With families. With futures. And he believed no man should be left behind, especially not while freedom was only days away. So Patton made a decision, one no general was supposed to make. He ordered a rescue mission deep into enemy territory, straight toward Hamillberg. And this decision would change everything. Patton did not ask for permission. He did not wait for approval. He acted immediately. A special task force was created. Tanks, armored vehicles, infantry. Supplies for only a few days. No backup, no air support, no second chance. Their mission: break through German territory, reach Hamillberg, free the prisoners, and escape alive. Many officers warned him. It was too risky, too deep, too dangerous. German lines were still strong. The roads were full of enemy troops. One ambush could destroy the entire force. But Patton ignored them. He believed speed was everything. Move fast, hit hard, confuse the enemy before they could react. The task force rolled forward, through villages, through forests, through enemy checkpoints, sometimes firing, sometimes charging straight through. German soldiers were shocked. They never expected American tanks so deep behind their lines. For hours, the raid worked. They pushed forward, closer and closer to the prison camp. But the deeper they went, the more resistance grew. German units began to surround them. Roadblocks appeared. Artillery opened fire. The rescue was turning into a trap. And still, Patton's men kept going. Because turning back meant abandoning thousands of prisoners and leaving them to die. At last, the prison camp appeared. Barbed wire guard towers, armed soldiers, thousands of prisoners inside. For a moment, it felt like victory. American tanks smashed through the gates. Machine guns opened fire. German guards ran. Some surrendered, some fought. Chaos exploded everywhere. Prisoners poured out, thin, weak, starving. Many cried. Many hugged the soldiers. Some could barely walk. Freedom had finally come. But reality struck fast. Most prisoners were too weak to escape. They had no weapons, no food, no transport. Patton's force was already running out of fuel. German reinforcements were closing in, from every direction. The rescue had succeeded, but the escape had not. Instead of saving thousands, they could only take a few hundred. The rest had to be left behind. Screaming, begging, reaching out as American tanks pulled away. Soldiers knew what it meant. Those men would likely be recaptured or killed. The mission that began as heroic was turning tragic. Now the task force had to fight its way back through enemy territory, carrying wounded, low on ammo, low on fuel, with German forces hunting them. What should have been a victory became a desperate retreat. When the task force returned, the truth came out. The rescue had broken orders. Patton had sent tanks deep behind enemy lines, without permission, without full support. High Command was furious. They said the mission was reckless, too dangerous, too costly. They blamed Patton for risking lives. But soldiers told a different story. They spoke about starving prisoners, about men who would have died without help, about a chance that could not be ignored. Patton defended his decision. He said, "When you see suffering like that, you do not wait for paperwork." Some generals agreed. Others wanted punishment. Reports flew across headquarters. Arguments exploded. Was Patton a hero or a commander who disobeyed orders? The mission saved lives, but it also embarrassed leadership. In war, breaking rules, even for good, has consequences. Soon, Patton was quietly removed from frontline command. Not officially punished, but pushed aside. The man who moved faster than anyone was now slowed down by politics. The rescue that should have been celebrated became a controversy. And the price was Patton's career. The German general was captured. Not beaten, not humiliated, but treated with dignity. Patton ordered food, medical care, clean clothes. He spoke to him as a soldier, not as an enemy. They talked about battles, about strategy, about fallen men. Two warriors from opposite sides who understood war better than politicians. Patton believed something deeply, that honor must exist even in hell. The general later said that Patton saved not only lives, but dignity in a brutal war. This moment shocked many officers. Why show kindness to the enemy? But Patton answered, "Today's enemy is still a human being." In a world of destruction, this respect stood out. A rare moment of humanity inside the bloodiest war in history. The German general was captured, not beaten, not humiliated, but treated with dignity. Patton ordered food, medical care, clean clothes. He spoke to him as a soldier, not as an enemy. They talked about battles, about strategy, about fallen men. Two warriors from opposite sides who understood war better than politicians. Patton believed something deeply, that honor must exist even in hell. The general later said that Patton saved not only lives, but dignity in a brutal war. This moment shocked many officers. Why show kindness to the enemy? But Patton answered, "Today's enemy is still a human being." In a world of destruction, this respect stood out. A rare moment of humanity inside the bloodiest war in history. Patton was not a perfect man. He was tough, sometimes harsh, sometimes controversial. But he was real. He fought with fire, but also with honor. Soldiers followed him because he led from the front, not from an office. He walked the battlefield. He shared danger. He shared risk. And because of that, men trusted him. Even enemies respected him. German officers later said they feared Patton more than any other general, not because he was cruel, but because he was unstoppable, fast, strategic, relentless, and fair. Today, military schools still study his tactics, his speeches, his decisions, including the moment he chose humanity over revenge. Patton proved something rare, that strength and honor can exist together. History is not just dates, not just battles, not just names in books. It is choices, moments, decisions that changed thousands of lives. One general, one decision, saved 20,000 men, and proved that even in war, humanity matters. The past is not gone. It still teaches us, if we are willing to listen.